This is my fully independent, unbiased review of the Viltrox 56mm F1.4 prime lens. Let's see how good it is. It comes in a nicely packaged box with a quality fill, a warranty card, tech spec sheet, and a neat little pouch. The lens has already been out once, proves you can never really repackage the same way. So I've had to speed this bit up. The lens has a nice solid and quality feel too. However, the aperture ring is stepless, but reasonably stiff enough to avoid being unintentionally moved, I hope. Removing the back cap also reveals a mini USB port, allowing firmware updates. The latest one is 1.09, but my Fuji camera doesn't recognise the number and just displays 100. Anyway, as shown, it takes a 52mm filter ring and is supplied with a deep metal clip-on lens hood. So all good there. So let's look at some of the photos taken with it, all at its maximum aperture of f1.4. I normally shoot RAW, but these are JPEGs straight out of the camera, unretouched and shot in Astia profile, and on a very overcast day too. As I mentioned earlier, all at f1.4 and using autofocus. Closest focusing is 0.6 meters, 23.6 inches, and at f1.4 depth of field is just 6mm. The autofocus motor is reasonably quiet too. 56mm is a perfect focal length for head and shoulder portraits, but the Viltrox was not used on these two. So let's take a look at the sharpness. Starting at maximum aperture f1.4 through to a minimum aperture f16. Certainly wide open the edges are soft, which is typical with virtually all lenses. Stopping down to f2 sees a marginal improvement, and at f2A onwards a marked improvement. You will notice pincushion distortion as well. Beyond f11 and the minimum aperture f16, sharpness drops off slightly, which again is typical of most lenses. The sweet spot, or sweet spots, are between f5.6 and f8. So now let's have a closer look at edge sharpness and then center sharpness as we stop down. Center sharpness looks fine, particularly between f2.8 and f11, so overall, very good. Now we'll take a look at autofocus performance, first with stills and then with video tracking. Aperture set to f1.4 on the Fuji X-T3 with the 56mm lens attached, of course. So let's see how the autofocus works on this lens, how effective it is in capturing movement. So I've got it set to continuous focusing, focus tracking, and set on its fastest acquisition as well in the menu. So let's see what happens. Down! Yes, am I in focus? Give it a little bit of a chance. Let's have a look. And I'm walking up, and I'm walking back, and forward. And I'll duck down, and up again. How's that quiet focus on my visage? Seems a bit sticky to me. It seems it needs a couple of seconds, yet the camera is set on its fastest AF acquisition. It's now on multi, so it should be covering and dancing around the whole frame as I move, well, tracking me. There's no question, I think the autofocusing, unless it's me or my cameras, tends to be somewhat sluggish. Anyway, I'm very impressed with this lens. I think it's absolutely fantastic value for money. 1/3 the price of Fuji's equivalent lens, although it's an f1.2, and yes, it's that bit sharper, but it's very, very good, even wide open. Yes, a bit softer at the corners, most lenses are. sop down a couple of stops and it's particularly good. If you were using it for copying any technical work, you'd stop down to 5.6, f8, f11 anyway, so you wouldn't use it f1.4, would you? No, not if you want everything to be razor sharp across the frame. A little bit of pincushion distortion. Apart from that, definitely recommended. And I should imagine the other lenses in the series, there's 4 lenses I believe, 23, 35, the 56 and an 85. Great collection of lenses and very affordable. Can't go wrong. Now let's look at some real world images, because at the end of the day what matters most are the images themselves. Once again, unretouched JPEG straight out of the camera, and you guessed it, all at maximum aperture. This is a great little lens. You can capture some really excellent shots with this, unquestionably. The only gripe I have though in its use is the aperture ring. It's stepless, although albeit fairly stiff, fortunately, but could be knocked, but actually it is very stiff actually, which is fine. But I prefer click stops, every third or every half stop at least. But it is clicked at the very end when it goes into fully auto. But I'm using it in manual, and of course I'm using it f1.4 all the time, just about, as you will see with the resulting pictures. So, very lightweight, focusing extremely smooth, beautiful, beautiful. Takes a 52mm filter, as already mentioned. Can't fault the optics, excellent. Pretty damn good wide open too, I have to say. Here we go. Yeah, quick shot with the f1.4 of the GoPro that I'm filming on. So me filming you, filming me. Anyway, yeah, but it's brilliant. The bokeh's quite nice too, I have to say. It's not obvious, it's not overpowering. Yeah, and to get really good bokeh, what you need to do is have some highlights. So shooting against the light will give you lovely spectral lighting in the background. So if you want a really good budget autofocus prime, what can you expect for 300 quid? I mean, come on. This lens is going up in direct competition to Fuji's 56 1.2, which is around 900 quid, so a third the price. So yeah, blimey. So if the rest of the lenses, like the 23, 35 and the 85, which they make in this series, are as good as this one, and I'm sure they are, well, it's a no-brainer. You can get yourself out very successfully with this. And when you think about the XT3 body now, since the XT4's come out, you can get this for around 800-900 quid. So that represents fantastic value for money, because it is a brilliant camera. In most departments, it's a really, really good lens. I'm not so sure about the autofocusing during video, tracking, etc., but that may be up to me and the way I've got my camera set up. But however, what I have to say is it's excellent value for money. It really is, at 1/3 the price of its comparable Fuji optic. Highly recommended. Cheers guys!